Well, thank you very much for having me.
非常感谢今天大家让我来到这边，
I'm very happy that I can have this opportunity to share with you this morning
我很
or this
荣幸有
afternoon.
这个机会来与大家分享。
Now, I've not come alone. I've come with my colleagues, Sammy and Sonia Maitri,
我是和我的同事们一起来的，
who work with the same organization and are part of the same team,
我们是在同一个小组、同一个机构，
but working in your neighborhood here, working in Dandenong.
但是我们是在 Dandenong 区工作。
So we work with an organization called OM,
我们是在一个 OM 的宣教组织工
which
作
is，which is a large mission organization working in more than 110 different countries around the world.
我们在全球100多个国家都有我们的机构的宣讲。
We have in the family of ministries, how we call it, we have about 6,500 workers.
在我们的机构里面有6000多个成员，
And about 1,000 of these workers work anywhere in the world among Muslims.
其中1000个我们中间的同工呢，在我们周围的，在全世界的穆斯林的组织里面有参与工作，
Yeah, mainly in Muslim countries, about 50 Muslim countries,
大部分是在穆斯林的国家，
but also increasingly in non-Muslim countries like Australia.
但是越来越多的呢，就现还会在非穆斯林的国家里，就好像我们澳洲，
So about 200 workers work anywhere in the non-Muslim world among Muslims,
有200个同工在非穆斯林的国家里做工，
including, for example, in Hong Kong.
包括香港。
So I'd really like to encourage you to investigate a little bit. We have two brochures out on the table back there.
我希望大家能够更加的了解我多一点我们。
One is about the countries in the Middle East and North Africa, the MENA News.
在外面我们有2本介绍，一本是关于南非的，
And this is about our work in Central Asia, the Silk Road magazine.
还有一本是关于我们在亚洲地区的工作。
Please also take one of these brochures, which is about our ministry here in Australia.
还有这本小的介绍是关于我们的机构。
So the largest part of our team is in Sydney, in Western Sydney.
大部分我们的机构是在我们雪梨。
And then we have Sammy and Sonia here in Dandenong.
Sammy 跟 Sammy 这2位同工是在这里的Dandenong 地区。
Since last year, we also started working in the Logan area in Brisbane.
我们在布里斯班的 Logan 的地区也有我们的事工。
And particularly in Melbourne and in Brisbane, we really hope that these small units will develop into bigger teams.
我们盼望在 Melbourne 跟布里斯班这2个地区的同工队员可以越来越强大。
So please take one of the brochures for Sammy and Sonia
鼓励大家拿一份他们2个人的介绍。
and pray for them and their ministry in Dandenong.
对，也希望大家不断的为他们2个的在 Dandenong 的事工来祷告。
Now, I also would like to mention to you a little project.
这是我们的一项小小的一个工作。
You will see out on the table there these beautiful scarves.
我们在外面的桌子上放了一些漂亮的围巾，
They are made by Syrian refugee women.
这是一些叙利亚的一些难民的妇女们做的。
These women live in a refugee camp in neighboring Jordan.
他们是在约旦的附近的一些难民集中营里面做的。
We're in the middle of a desert,
在沙漠中地带中，
so to speak, overnight.
连夜的，
A new city evolved.
一夜之间一个新的城市就
Sorry.
建起来了。
So where there was nothing before, all of a sudden there's a city of 100,000 refugees.
在一片荒无人烟的地方，一夜之间就有超过1万多的难民。
And so we're helping about 30 families
我们希望有30个家庭，
by teaching the women to make these scarves.
教导那些妇女们怎样去
And then,
做一些手工艺品，包括这些围巾。
And then teams around the world help to market them.
然后我们全世界的同工们就帮他们去推销这些他们的手工。
If you're already looking for a Chinese New Year present for next year, here is a good one.
如果我们已经在为中国的新年节在打算的话，这里是一个很好的礼物的一个。
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Pastor Ben, for introducing this topic.
谢谢Ben 牧师介绍的这一个主题。
Islam is increasingly on the mind of everybody, isn't it?
伊斯兰教不断的在我们中间传开。
Many people are worried what is going on with the increase of Muslims, particularly in our countries, in Western countries.
我们不断的有这一些的负担在挑战我们，特别是在我们周围的这些地区。
People are worried and people are angry.
很多人都开始担忧，更多的人就会愤怒。
Just yesterday, again, terrible incident in Sydney.
昨天在雪梨又有一件事情发生。
A 15-year-old Muslim boy
一个15岁的穆斯林男孩
killed an employee of the police force.
杀害了一个警察。
Because of his radical convictions in Islam.
就是因为他极端的伊斯兰的背景。
But even if it's not that radical,
就算他没有那么极端
many people, really are worried because of the change that Muslims bring to their country.
但很多人，我们周围的人都会担心，因为他们在我们身边的做出了一些的变化。
I remember a little while ago I talked to a lady in Stratfield in Western Sydney.
我记得不久前在雪梨，我跟一位妇女在交谈。
And when I spoke in the church and said, that we are reaching out to Muslims,
当我告诉他们我们要去跟我们身边的穆斯林人去敞开的时候，
she got very upset.
他非常的不开心。
And she said, we don't like Muslims.
我们不喜欢穆斯林人。
They came to our area.
他们进入我们的群体。
And they changed the culture of the suburb.
他把我们的社区整个都改变了。
They changed the whole area.
他们把整个地区都改变了。
They bought all the houses.
他们把所有的房子都购买下来。
And we own the shop. Our customers stayed away.
我们的店员跟我们的雇员跟我们的那些客户全都走了。
In the end, we even had to sell our shop to them.
最后我们不得已把我们的店都卖给了他们。
She was furious.
她非常非常的生气。
Maybe you can associate with that.
可能你有共同感。
Many people in Australia, in Germany, in many other Western countries are upset.
可能澳洲跟德国跟其他世界的很多国家人都会很。
They want the government to stop this, stop all these Muslims coming here.
他们希望国家的政府可以参与，可以阻止这些穆斯林人。
In many cases, if they're Christians, they're praying that God will stop this.
很多时候，我们有很多基督徒们都在向神祷告，求神来停止这一些。
But it seems God is not answering this prayer.
但是好像神并没有听我们的祷告。
More and more Muslims are coming.
穆斯林人就越来越多的聚集。
How should we as Christians look at this problem?
那我们应该怎样去？我们作为基督徒应该怎样去面对呢？
What does God think about this?
神是怎样看待这件事情的？
I believe this story of Jonah gives us a look into the heart of God.
我相信约拿的故事可以给我们一个启发。
And can help us to understand how we really as Christians should view this.
也同时让我们基督徒知道我们应该怎样去看待这件事情。
So we read in this first couple of verses in Jonah.
我们来看约拿书的前几节。
That God tells Jonah to go to the city of Nineveh.
神差遣约拿去尼尼微城。
And preach against it.
向其中的居民呼喊。
Now this is a very simple information that the first verses give us here.
这经文非常简短。
But there's actually a lot of background that we need to understand.
但其中有很多的信息我们需要明白。
Nineveh was the capital city of the Assyrian kingdom.
尼尼微是亚西亚利的首都。
The Assyrians were like a superpower at the time.
他们那个国家就好像是拥有了超能力。
And they were extremely brutal.
那个国家的人民是非常的残暴。
For example, one of the cruel habits that they had.
他们有一个非常残酷的一个习惯。
When they conquered a land, they would chop off the heads of the people that they conquered.
当他们征战一个地方的时候，他们会把他们的俘虏的头都砍下来。
And then make piles of these heads along the border.
他们会把他们的头颅在这个边界排成一圈。
So that everybody who came nearby knew this is Assyrian territory.
所以所有的人接近这个境界的时候，都会知道那是他们的领土。
They deported and they enslaved people.
他们驱逐，他们囚禁那些人，
They worshipped foreign gods.
他们侍奉其他的神，
So no wonder Jonah was not overly keen to go to their capital city.
也难怪约拿不是很想去到他们的国家。
Jonah and his people were under a real threat.
约拿和他的人和他国家的人也正在面临这些危机。
He had every reason to be afraid.
他感到非常的害怕。
And in a similar way,
如此，
we are facing a real threat with Islam.
我们面对着穆斯林的时候，也有如此的惧怕。
I'm the last one to say that Islam is not a problem.
但我就是觉得这伊斯兰其实并不是我们最大的一个恐吓。
There is no question Islam wants to expand its territory.
虽然穆斯林他们要在我们中间扩展他们的国度，
There is no question if Muslims move into an area, the culture, the lifestyle of that area will change.
当他们进入每一个社区的时候，那个社区的生活习惯跟习俗就会起到巨大的改变。
So our threat is just as real as it was for Jonah.
所以我们现在面临的危机，与约拿那个时候他们的人民遇到的危机其实是一样的。
Nevertheless, God sends Jonah to exactly these people who pose such a threat to his own country.
然而，神差遣约拿去到那些人中间去宣讲神。
But what does it say in verse 2? Why did God send him to Nineveh?
那在我们的第2节里面，神为什么让约拿去到尼尼微呢？
In verse 2 it says, because of their wickedness.
因为他们的恶达到神的面前。
God sees the wickedness of the people in Nineveh.
神看见那些人的恶
And what does that mean, the wickedness of these people?
那是什么意思呢？
Now, English is not my first language,
虽然英文不是我第一语言，
so I had to sort of research. What does wickedness actually mean? What does God really see?
所以我研究了一下神到底看到那些人的罪是在哪里呢？那些人的恶，
What it means, it is that God needs to judge and where he needs to punish people for.
所以神看到他们的恶，就是因为神要去判断他们的罪。
God sees that stands against him.
神所看到的就是那些罪是针对他的，
God sees that what separates people from him.
这就是人与他分开的一个罪。
He saw that with the Assyrians,
他看到Syrian 人，
and he sees that with Muslims.
他也看到这在穆斯林人中看到，
He sees what separates Muslims from him.
这就是穆斯林人与他分割的一个原因。
He sees what deserves to be judged, condemned, and punished.
神看到这是需要被定罪、需要被惩罚的。
But what we all know is
但我们所知道的是，
God doesn't want to punish.
神并不想这样子做，
God doesn't want to punish the Ninevites.
神并不想惩罚尼尼微人。
And in the same way, God doesn't want to punish Muslims.
同样，神也不希望去惩罚穆斯林人。
So it's clear God sees the threat that the Ninevites pose to Jonah and his nation.
神虽然看到尼尼微人对约拿与他们的人民的产生的危机，
But we need to be clear, the threat to Jonah's lifestyle,
但是那个危机对约拿他们的生活习俗
the threat to his culture,
的危机对他们的文化
the threat to his comfort,
对他们的生活的安定，
is not God's concern.
并不是神的顾虑。
His concern is that there are people who are on the way to eternal condemnation.
神所顾虑到的就是有人正在走向灭亡，
And that is what we need to realize too.
那这也是我们需要知道的。
If Muslims will move into your beautiful area here of, where are we? Buli. If they move in here, your culture in this suburb will change.
如果有穆斯林人进入到我们柏林这个社区的时候，我们的生活习惯也会受到影响，
It will be uncomfortable for you.
我们会觉得不舒服。
But that is not God's most greatest concern.
但这并不是神最大的顾虑。
His concern is that these people are without him and they're on the way to eternal
神所
condemnation.
看到的就是那些人眼中没有他，那些人正在走向灭亡。
So the first question that this text posed to us is, what do we see when we see Muslims?
所以这段经文给我们最大的启发就是，当我们在看这段经文的时候，我们看到了什么？
Do we see threat to our comfort?
是看到对我们舒适生活的一个危机吗？
Or do we see people who are lost without Christ on the way to eternal
或是
condemnation?
我们看到的就是那些流失的人？
The way we see them will determine what direction we will take.
我们怎样看待这个问题，可以取决于我们怎样去面对这个问题。
God in this story sees the lostness of the people,
神在这里看到那些流失的人，
and he starts a rescue plan by sending Jonah.
所以神开始了他的拯救的计划。
But unfortunately, Jonah doesn't look at the Ninevites the way God looks at them.
但很不幸的是，约拿看到的情况并不是神所看到的。
In verse 3 we read, "But Jonah ran away from the Lord
但在第3节里面，我们却看到约拿起来逃避神，
and headed to Tarshish."
逃往他施。
So basically it's like God was sending him that way and he was moving that way.
所以基本上就是神让他去这里，他去了那，
Almost 100% opposite direction.
几乎就是180度的反方向。
And friends, traditionally, that is what we Christians have done too with God's command to go to reach Muslims.
但往往我们作为基督徒也是取决了这样子的一个
I already shared with the young people yesterday
昨天我与一些年轻人也分享了这个问题。
that I'm proud to be from Germany, where missionaries have gone very early on to the ends of the earth.
那些德国的宣教师们已经去到世界的各地。
We very early on went to, the Amazon jungle in South America.
他们很久以前就已经进入了那些丛林地带。
We were among the first ones to go to Australia to work among Aborigine
他们也
people.
他们也是第一批进入澳洲去，在与我们的本地的土著人。
But so from Germany, we went to the ends of the earth.
从德国他们去到世界的各个地方。
But by doing that, we very clearly went around the Muslim area.
但是非常明显的，当我们这样做的时候，我们其实绕过穆斯林的国家，
We avoided the Muslim area
我们躲避了那些国家，
because it was not for our comfort.
因为我们觉得不舒服。
But friends, the problem is when we don't do what God tells us,
问题是，当我们不是照着神的旨意去做的时候，
then we don't necessarily just run away from the task that God gives us,
我们不单单只是逃避神要我们去做这个工作，
but we actually run away from the Lord himself.
我们往往却是躲避神他自己。
And that's why it says here, Jonah didn't just run away from the task that God gave him,
所以这里说到约拿不是单单逃避了这项工作，
but rather he ran away from God.
他躲避了耶和华。
So it's strange, he wants to get away from what God told him because he wants to have security. He is threatened by this task.
所以他逃避，就是因为他对这个问题这个工作感觉到有危机。
So he's looking for peace and security,
他在寻找安宁跟保障，
but he ends up in a storm of destruction.
但他最后却在一个大浪里面。
And friends, whether we like it or not,
不管我们喜欢或是不喜欢，
this is also true for us personally and for us as church.
我们作为个人跟我们整个教会也是面临同样的问题。
If we don't take up the task that God gives us, we will end up in destruction.
如果我们不跟着神的计划去走的话，我们也会进入到狂风暴雨中。
And we have plenty of examples of that in Western Sydney now,
我们在雪梨也有很多这样子的例子。
where churches didn't take up that task to minister to Muslims.
教会往往逃避去做穆斯林的那些工作，
They just wanted to stick to themselves.
他们要在自己的周围
They
做
wanted to
施
keep
工，
their comfort,
他们要保持他们自己的一个舒适度。
and now they're on the brink of this extinction.
他们现在正在面临灭亡。
Really, the way we look at Muslims will determine what direction we take.
我们怎样看待穆斯林，取决于我们怎样子去面对这个问题。
Jonah didn't take the task that God gave him.
约拿并没有接受神给他的工作。
And we could say, well, why doesn't the story end here?
但是这个故事为什么没有在这里就结束了呢？
Why didn't God just say, you know what, Jonah, actually you're right. These Ninevites, they're so bad.
神为什么就没有就没有跟约拿说，对他们是一群值得灭亡的人呢？
I fully understand you don't like to go there. Look, you know what? Let's just wipe them out.
如果你不喜欢他们的话，我也可以理解，所以我们就把他们
We
毁灭。
know, of course, God doesn't do that.
但是我们知道神不会这样做，
Because he loves these people in Nineveh.
因为神也爱那些人，尼尼微的人。
He doesn't give up on on his plan just because his people doesn't want to do what he tells them
他
to
不
do.
会就这样子放弃自己的旨意，就是只是因为有人不喜欢。
Instead, God does everything that needs to happen to make sure his plan succeeds.
神会做他所有一切的，让他的旨意达成。
So, as one Muslim scholar said
有一个穆斯林的学者这样说，
when he read this story about Jonah,
当他读到约拿的故事的时候
he，said, God did a miracle of a miracle of a miracle to bring Jonah back on track.
神做了一个又一个的神迹的时候，把约拿带回了他。
God
身边
causes this huge storm to happen.
神让狂风暴雨在他身边发生。
And the first miracle is that, the whole ship should have, cantered.
第一个神迹就是整个船并没有就这样子毁灭。
And especially, Jonah gets thrown overboard. He should have drowned, right?
接下来就是约拿被丢到海里的时候，他并没有沉灭。
Secondly, he gets gobbled up by this fish.
其次，他被一个大鱼吞食，
And he should be minced meat by then.
他应该已经被他搅碎了。
Okay? Second miracle. The third miracle is he stays 3 days in the belly of this fish.
第三个神迹就是他3天3夜都在这个大鱼的腹中。
I don't know if you've ever pictured yourself how that would feel.
我们可以想象这是一个什么
He
情
should have
景？
been eaten up by acid or some whatever in
他可
there.
能早就被消化了。
So it's a miracle of a miracle of a miracle that God does this to bring Jonah back on track.
所以接二连三的奇迹，神借着这些奇迹把约拿带回来。
And I think we can all agree God brought Jonah back on track by doing something that was surely frightening to him.
神把约拿带回来做那些对约拿感觉到害怕的事情，
And it was against his will. Jonah didn't ask God to do that for him.
这也并不是约拿所想去做的。
And my friends, I'm very convinced God is doing the same thing for us.
我认为神现在对我们也正在做同样的事情。
For us as the church in the Western world.
我们西方国家的教会正在做这件事情。
He does something to us that is frightening,
他做这件事情让我们感到惧怕，
and he does something that is against our will.
他做这件事情，就是不符合我们的意
To
愿，
bring us back on track to reach these people that he wants to see
使我们回
reached.
到他的道路上面去，向那些人去呼。
What is that thing that he does?
他做了什么呢？
He brings these people that we're not ready to go to, he brings them to us.
他把我们不愿意出去的那些他把那些我们不愿意去接触的人带到我们身边。
We need to understand that when we see Muslims in our land,
我们需要明白的是，当我们看到穆斯林人在我们身边的时候，
we are not looking at Muslim invaders to our country,
我们看到的并不是那些侵略者，
but we're looking at people that God has placed before us so they can be reached.
我们看到的是神放在我们面前的这些人，使我们可以去给他们做施工。
And I believe the future of our church in the Western world
我相信在西方国家，
depends on whether we accept this challenge that God gives us.
西方国家的未来就是取决于我们是否会去接受这些人。
But friends, there's another aspect here in that whole fact that God brings Jonah back on track.
还有另外一面，
God could have also said, okay, Jonah, you don't like to go.
神也可以这样对约拿说：知道你不喜欢去那边，
Well, if you don't like to go, I'll ask Pastor Ben to go.
那如果你不想去，我可以另外请叫别人去。
Okay? He could have picked somebody else.
他可以选择别人。
Why was God so insistent that it was actually Jonah to go and do
那
this?
神为什么那么执着的要让约拿去做这些事情呢？
Well, friends, the quick answer to that is this.
很简单的答案就是，
Because with every challenge that God gives us,
神给我们的每一个挑战，
He also wants us to benefit and grow in our faith.
他要我们从中得益。
Let's look quickly at the end of the story of Jonah.
我们快快的看一下约拿故事的最后。
We didn't read this, but you are familiar with the story, I know that.
虽然我们今天没有读，但是我相信我们都知道这个故事。
In chapter 4, we read sort of the end of the story.
故事的最后是这样子的。
In verse 1 and 2, we really take a look into Jonah's heart.
在第4章的1跟2节里面，我们看到约拿的一些感受。
And this is incredible, the things that he says here.
很奇妙的，我们看到这些他所说的话。
He says to God, really, this is why I quickly fled to Tarshish.
他这样说，所以我急速逃往他斯去。
Now listen to this. Because I knew you are a gracious and compassionate God,
因为我知道你是有恩典、有怜悯的神，
slow to anger and abandoning in love,
不轻易发怒，有丰盛的慈爱，
a God who relents from sending calamity.
并且后悔不降所说的灾。
It's amazing, isn't it?
这是很奇妙的，是不是？
He says, this is the God I know,
这就是我知道的神，
the God who is gracious to me,
是一个有恩典的神，
compassionate to me,
有怜悯的神，
doesn't, stay angry with me.
不轻易发怒的神。
But that same God, I don't want that same God to be in the same way to my enemy.
但我并不希望我的神是这样子对待我的敌人。
We realize it was actually not fear that drove Jonah away from this task.
所以我们看到这里，并不是因为惧怕才使约拿逃离，
It was hate.
是因为恨。
He hated these Assyrians.
他恨那些
He
人，
said, they're so bad.
他们非常的坏，
They deserve to be wiped out from the face of the earth.
他们应该要被毁灭。
And friends, let's be honest with each other.
我们诚恳一点，
I sometimes feel like that about Muslims.
有时候我也是这样感受的
Seriously.。
对待穆斯林的时候
I've，been working among Muslims for more than 20 years.
我在那些人群中工作了20年。
I have a lot of Muslim friends that I love.
虽然我有很多穆斯林的朋友，
But when I look at what ISIS does,
但是当我看到 ISIS 他们做的那些事情的时
I
候，
can get in a rage.
我非常的愤怒，
I can hate them.
我可以恨他
I
们。
can really feel, God, I wish you would just, throw some bomb on them and kill them all.
我也想求神在他们中间将他们毁灭，
But that is not the way God wants it.
但那并不是神所喜悦的。
And so God is just as concerned with Jonah's heart as he is with the Ninevites.
神同时怜悯到约拿的感受，也怜悯到那些尼尼微人，
And he does this little thing with the plant.
所以他这样子做了一些。
You all know this, Jonah is sitting outside the city and, is waiting what to happen with the city.
所以约拿当他坐在城外的时候，
And God lets this plant grow and Jonah enjoys the shade.
神让一棵树在他的身边成长出来，
And then overnight, God sends one of these little widgety grub.
让那个树的一些树荫来遮盖约拿。
It eats the root and the plant dies.
但是半夜的时候呢，有一些什么事情发生，就把这棵
Not a
树
big
给毁
deal,
灭了。
really.
虽然不是一件很大的事情，
But Jonah gets suicidal. It's completely depressed.
但是约拿却很受打击，
He has such self-pity on himself
他对自己感到很自
over
怜
that，little plant that died.
就因为那一棵小小的植物死了。
And God says to him,
神对他说
how can you be so upset about this stupid little plant?：“
就因为这一棵小小的树，你为什么那么伤心呢？
And you wonder that I'm upset if a city of hundreds of thousands of people is going to die.
那你想象一下，我那么多的子民在这个城市里，如果灭绝的话，
You
是什么
didn't
感受？
do anything to make this plant grow,
你对这棵树的成长什么都没做，
but I created each one of these thousands of people in the city and loved them.
但是我却是创造这一些人的神。
Now, what I find really interesting
我觉得很有趣的就是，
is that the Bible doesn't give us the end of the story, really. We don't know what happened in Jonah's heart.
圣经并没有给我们一个结局，我们并不知道约拿最
Did
后
he
是怎么样。
change? Did he say, oh, sorry, God, forgive me?
约拿最后有没有向
We
神
don't
忏
know.
悔呢？我们并不知道。
I believe this is because God is just holding a mirror in front of our hearts.
我认为神在给我们一个镜子，让我们来去
And
对
each
照，
one of us has to answer, how do I respond to this challenge that I read
使我
here?
们可以对照，知道说我们在面对这个事情的时候，我们是怎么感受的。
can we see that with every challenge that God puts in our life,
我们怎样面对神给我们的每一个挑战？
where He tells us to do something that will take us out of our comfort zone,
当他把我们带出我们的舒适的环境的时候，
God also has a purpose in our own life.
神在我们的生命中也有他的美意。
He wants us to become more like Him.
神要我们更像他。
If we allow that,
如果我们让神这样子做的时候，
we will then also see what happens in this story.
我们同时也会看到这个故事的结局。
You know, the one thing that Jonah was different from us
有一点约拿跟我们不同的是，
is that he knew at the beginning,
他在一开始的时候，
if he would do that,
他就知道，如果他这样子去做的
if
时
he
候，
would go to Nineveh,
如果他真的去到尼尼微的时候，
the city would be spared.
那个城市就会得拯救。
He knew God was going to be gracious and these people would repent and God would spare the city.
他知道那些神会有怜悯，当那些人认罪的时候，神会拯救他们。
Unfortunately, we as Christians often think going to Muslims, they're not going to change.
但是我们基督徒很多时候都认为穆斯林人他们不会改变。
But if we take on the task that God gives us,
但是如果我们接受神给我们的工作的时候，
He will bring the change.
他会带来改变。
And imagine this, picture this.
我们来想象一下，
Here is this city of hundreds of thousands of people
在一个有千百万人的城市
who，are in this nice habit of chopping off heads of people.
有很奇怪的爱好，就是砍人头的。
And all of a
爱好的时
sudden
候，
they take on sackcloth,
但突然间，
put ash on their head,
他们穿麻衣，
and publicly a whole city repents from what they're doing.
整个城市一起来
Who would imagine something like this
认罪。
could happen?
我们可以想象吗？
Friends, this is what we're seeing in our world among Muslims today.
今天我们在我们这个世界也是看到穆斯林人正在做的事。
Like when I started work as missionary among Muslims,
当我一开始做这个宣教工作的时候，
people told me just beware, you might not see one convert in your life.
人们常常跟我说，你要小心，可能在你这一生中看不到一个悔改的
Missionaries
人。
had worked their whole life and didn't see anybody come to
很
faith.
多宣教士他们在一生的工作中看不到任何的成
At
果。
that time, the country of Algeria, for example, we knew of 5 believers.
在那个时候，我们看到埃及利亚有5个信神的人。
Today, Algeria has an established church of more than 100,000 people recognized by the Islamic government.
如今却有100万的信徒。
And in many, many other countries around the world, God is doing incredible things.
类似在很多很多的地方都是国家都是这样子。
Do you believe that if God puts Muslims here into Melbourne, that He can use you to change some of their lives?
你相信神今天会利用你去改变这些穆斯林人的生活吗？
How are you
生命。
going to respond to this task?
你会怎样子去回应这个信息？
I pray that God will give you the heart to step out and do what He asks you to do.
我求神给你们这一颗去接受挑战的一颗心。
Amen.
阿门。